Hi, I'm Kyla Chandler, and I'm here with today Tajiri Green. How are you today?
I'm good. How about you? How you
I'm
doing?
good. So today, y'all, we are going to be talking about his podcast, Holla Back. Tell us a little bit about Holla Back.
So Holla Back is a sports podcast that I do here, right here in the studio. We talk about pretty much every sport almost, and just whatever is trending, and yeah, that's pretty
Okay,
much
and when did you start Holla Back?
I started in February of last semester, so yeah.
Okay, and how did you come up with the name Holla Back?
Honestly, I was just thinking about names, and I was just like, something got to be catchy, something that'll make people want to come back and watch the show. So I'm like, Holla Back.
How do you keep people coming back? Like, what sets your podcast apart from another sport podcast?
I feel like with my podcast, you'll get the goofy. Sometimes we go off the rails a little bit, but you'll also get the analysis that you're looking for, when we could be serious and give the people what they're trying to, understand when it comes to the different sports that we're talking about. So we could do a little mixture of both.
And then how do you decide what topics or games you're going to cover each episode?
Just whatever people really are talking about. I try to really give the people what they want. So whatever is the big games or the big subjects going on that really caught news, I try to pay attention to Instagram a little bit, TikTok. So whatever causes a lot of controversy.
Do you have a set day you post, or time and all that?
I've been working on that. So
Okay.
As soon as
Look, it's coming.
Yeah, we're trying to get a little bit more consistent. So yeah.
So do you have guests on your podcast, or is it just you talking?
So I do have guests. So I usually have either Zach Turner or Malachi Kelly. Those are my two main guys right now. Last year I used to have Zach and Malachi as well, but also I'm going blank on my guy name right now, but he was a former basketball player here. So.
And how do they come every podcast, or it just depends? Okay.
Yeah, so it's every podcast. As long as they're available. If one's available and the other's not, then we'll do it like that. If both available, obviously they both come. If they're not available, I try to get somebody. If I can't, then it'd just be me.
Okay, so you obviously love sports if you're talking about sports. So being a fan and also you're analyzing sports, what is the most exciting moment you've had on Holla Back when you've been talking about sports?
Wow, that's a good question. The most exciting moment, I would probably say, was the first episode when I had to talk about the Luka Doncic trade that really lit the whole world on fire. I feel like if you didn't know about sports, you heard about that. So just that was, and it being my first episode, so I finally get this platform to give my takes that I've been talking in my room about. So yeah.
Okay. And then how do you feel like your podcast leans more to one sport, or do you cover everything?
I'm not gonna say I cover everything. If certain sports, if it's big news, I'll cover it. But for the most part, we talk about basketball, football. We're incorporating baseball now, and WNBA, so basketball as well. So that's pretty much the main right there.
Okay, running your own podcast, what is the hardest thing, with the challenges with having a podcast?
The challenges, I would probably say, is having to do almost not everything, because I have a great team. You still have to be a part of my team. Kyla, thank you so much. But just far as after the episode is shot, I would say the hardest part is the making sure I get it out in a decent amount of time to where it's still relevant, and then making sure I get out entertaining clips and stuff like that to just catch people's attention, like the reels and stuff like that. So.
What is the setup process like? Are you scripted? Do you just make a list of outline of everything, or do you freestyle?
So I make an outline of the topic that I know I want to cover, and then from there I'll ask a question based off the topic, and then we just freestyle from there, because I feel like it's more genuine that way. You get the real, raw, entertaining.
Do you be nervous though?
I want to say after the first one I was. Maybe a couple shows after that I was a little nervous. But I feel like I like to relate a lot of things to basketball. I used to play sports in general. When I used to play basketball, football, it's like I'm nervous, butterflies, but then once the game starts, it's over. It's all out the window. So once the camera come on, it's all out the window. I'm ready.
Okay. Where do you see Holla Back in a couple years from now?
Man, I'm praying that it's one of the biggest podcasts on YouTube, everywhere, wherever you could get podcasts. I'm praying that it's the biggest podcast, and I also plan to do a subsection of Holla Back. So we're gonna have the Holla Back in the morning, talk about the sports and stuff like this, real professional. But the after dark is what I'm really excited for because that's more so laid back, just talking how we want to talk without having to, censor it a little bit, just regular barbershop talk. So hopefully those they're two shows in one, but hopefully they're just the biggest shows in America.
Okay, and as we're wrapping up, I do want to ask, if you could interview any athlete, past or present, who would you interview? Who would you bring on your show?
That is a great question, Kyle. I haven't thought about that. Any athlete, LeBron. I guess you gotta go. You gotta go LeBron, right?
That's a good one. You can't.
Yeah, you can't go. You can't not go LeBron. But currently, I would want to interview Anthony Edwards because I see a lot of, me and Ant can relate a little bit. He seems like he come from where I come from. We talk a little the same. My type of guy. So.
Okay, and then as we also are getting to the end, do you have any advice for anybody who is starting their own sports podcast?
I would just say to anybody who's starting a podcast, just do it. Just do it. Be determined. Go out there and try to network with people because you never know who could help you. And then once you do it, you got to put in the work. So that's simple as that.
All right, Tigers fam, that is Tajiri Green. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.